guys? Welcome to the Beyond the Red Door podcast. It is myself, Austin Dye, and I'm joined by our Beyond the Red Door podcast crew this time. So, for those that you haven't met, I think Sean, you were on an episode, weren't you?
Yeah, I was on the
The Ruck
Thanksgiving episode when we
Oh,
and
yes.
the Ruck episode too.
That's what I was
Yeah,
going to say, the Ruck one.
I'm
So, people
Beyond the
know.
Red Door podcast veteran here, guys.
Yes. So, this is episode 3. That might be a first. In terms of guests that we've had on. But so
Right?
Mr. Editor, Sean McGrath. And then our newest guest, he's on here on a podcast for the first time, Mr. Hayden Bittinger. He's our social media manager. Hayden,
Oh, yeah.
Introduce yourself a little bit since people might not know you.
Of course. Yeah, I'm Hayden. I run social media when I feel like it. All those awesome, super funny shorts that you guys see on stories and whatnot, those are me. Trying to do more maybe soon, but yeah, no, it's a lot of fun.
Talk about
Glad
yourself
to be
in terms
here.
of sig up, like what?
Yeah, come on, this is your first time on the podcast.
when you graduated, what you
are.
graduated with, what you're doing.
I'm a graduate of. I joined in the fall of 2019 in terms of SIGAP, and graduated just in December of 2023. So a very, very fast 4.5 years. Kind of went by super fast when you look back on it. In terms of SIGAP, I started out vice president of the SOC, but back then it was chap dev, I think is what we called it still, and then it was just LC, and now it's VP SOC. So lots of changes, and it became nationally recognized. So huge steps, obviously. And then I went on to run. I was VP of recruitment for my second term of exec positions, and then after that, I guess I should preface with both didn't run super well. Very ambitious. The results weren't
buddy.
exactly there.
Nobody would have known if you had said anything.
Nobody would have known anything. No one would have been wiser.
Well, that kind of builds into the fact that like I sought success elsewhere in the Greek scene and ended up running United Greek Council as president for 2 years, and that was very awesome because that was like sort of the leadership shift that I sort of needed, I think, after those first 2 years. And I started all the Greek programming back up and doing Greek Week again, bringing that kind of stuff back was just a lot of fun. So I could yap on and on about.
Wait, speaking of Greek Week, though, who won Greek Week this year? I saw that the chapter was doing. We won again.
We did win.
2-year champs, baby.
It was a little scuffed, but we definitely won. Yeah.
It was looking
How's scuffed? How's the
when
scuffed?
Andy made the Penny Wars post, I was like, "Oh boy, we are getting." hate us.
Yeah,
They
it
are
sounded like we
killing
weren't
us.
winning.
Well, scuffed in the sense, and Sean, I don't know what you can, if you're editing this, what you can edit in or out, but all I'll say is, so you brought the Penny Wars post up, yeah, with Andy and
Yeah.
So Niles, I think, was sort of in charge of that, the Penny Wars stuff, like the competition itself, and Niles had like a dummy boy moment and forgot to take all that $200 some that we donated and make it into pennies and turn it in. So he kind of collaborated with Lisa and them, and he's like, "Look, it's the day before. It's $200. You really want 20,000 pennies?" And they kind of agreed that like the purpose was for pennies, so we'll count it as pennies, and let's not make it a whole hassle for the
Oh
committee.
my gosh, dude.
So they counted it as our win, but in all realistic,
What a that! I'm not even gonna cut that. That's just a dummy boy moment of Niles.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness. It's a good thing that Lisa and Becky are so forgiving on that kind of
To be
stuff.
fair, I don't know if I would want 20,000 pennies. Like that's
What?
quite a lot.
The bank doesn't have 20,000 pennies though.
I know we'd be out of
Yeah.
pennies.
I told Niles too. I'm like, because he actually reached out to me, and he's like, "What would you have done in this case?" And I'm like, "I think I would have wanted at least an attempt to get because they keep them in rolls. They keep the pennies in rolls, so it's like you don't have to take them out of the rolls necessarily. But do they have $220 worth of pennies? Just I don't know how
I can't
much
believe that we raised that much
Probably
money
not. I can't
too.
imagine.
Well, and
There's a
I
lot of
threw
people
$20
donating on
in.
that thread.
I
told
donated
Niles
$20
straight up. I told him, I said, I gave 25, and I said, this 25, if we absolutely need it, like if we're really close at the end of the competition, use it 100%. If we're killing everybody in Penny Wars, bury Teak. Put them down. Use it against them.
They buried us. We
So,
were like negative 2,000, weren't we?
yeah, it
When
was
they
like
made the
negative
post, we were negative
2,000 when they made the
2,000.
post.
Yeah. All it took was a
It's pretty crazy.
$25 in pennies to bring us back to where we needed to be anyway. So it was
$25 and
swept.
Yeah.
So
I will say-
$200. Wow.
Yeah, we almost lost to Tau. They were actually very close to getting first, but we ended up just barely coming through, I think.
Okay.
Go
Well,
Sigep.
Well,
Winning
yeah, go
Homecoming
Sigep.
and Greek Week. The champions of UW Platteville Greek life.
We can't flaunt too much. People are gonna start hating us again.
We
You
put
think
the
that they
W in
don't?
Wisconsin Theta. That's all I'm saying.
That's good. That's good.
All right. Well, going back to what we were talking about. Hayden, we're gonna have to get you on just to talk about that whole, all that stuff anyway, because people probably have no idea outside of people that were on campus about all that.
If I ever get like my episode, my spotlight to just go into
you can.
my
Yeah,
Greek.
what do you mean?
Just have to say
If
you want
you
to be on
do,
it.
it's more like when you do.
When you do,
Yeah, I
schedule
think
here
I am
soon.
on. I'm either on
You're
the
on the
schedule or
list.
Dom said I'm on the list. Yeah, so
You're on the list. We have a lot of people that are on the list currently, but we won't talk about that right now.
No,
Anyway,
that's a big list.
We're so off tangent right now. We got to bring it all back. So obviously Dom isn't here. He wasn't able to make it on tonight, but that's okay. Essentially, we wanted to gather the crew because we have Spring Banquet coming up this weekend. How excited are you guys?
That's what I'm talking about, baby.
It came at like a perfect time. The weekend is a bunch of fun stuff planned. I don't know if you guys have seen like the numbers, but I think this is going to be one of our like biggest spring banquets.
Really? That's super
because on the undergrad side, I think they have about I want to say like 80, like upwards of like 100. I think they might almost have close to like 100 people like signed up.
Really?
With,
is that like
and everybody?
Oh, I wasn't sure because parents are then
Yeah, so it's undergrads, their parents, and then like any other people that they wanted to bring. And then on the alumni side, we had close to like 50 to 60 people, and that's the same thing. Like if you wanted parents there, whoever signed up through our link. So I mean, because we were talking like it's taking place in Velzy, and like we were almost like, oh, are we gonna have enough room? Like, do we need to ask them to rearrange some stuff to make sure we had enough seating?
Yeah.
So yeah, but
this is good information.
So like I said,
good information for 25-year right here,
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, this might be one of our biggest banquets that we've ever had, and then in terms of like alumni, like people coming back as well, like it's gonna be a great time. Like I said, there's a whole weekend of stuff kind of planned. I want to talk about what's everyone looking forward to about banquet.
Well, I'm personally, I mean, really, what's going to be the highlight of the weekend for me is, I think Friday night with Burning Heart is going to be pretty much the highlight for the weekend for me, as well as I guess this episode is going to be coming out after the fact, but this week Friday we're going to be planning on doing the whiskey tasting at the Speakeasy 50/50, and we've never planned something like this before, and I think it's just really exciting that we're doing a more of a collectivized event. We're actually planning on meeting up in a place. It's not, let's everyone go to the VFW afterwards. We're all going to go to the Speakeasy. We're going to do some whiskey tasting and just have a nice social hour in a bar that's not going to be the VFW. And nothing against the VFW. It's just it's going to be a little bit more formal. I'm kind of excited. I'm really excited for that kind of experience.
Yeah. How about you, Aiden?
I sat and tried to think about all the stuff coming up, what would be my favorite, and Burning Heart, Sean said, is a great opportunity to go out there and see a spectacle that we could put on every year. The golf outing, obviously I'm a big golfer, so that was on my agenda of fun things. And then the banquet itself, but I think as cheesy as this response probably is, just getting to come back onto campus and see like all the people, because I just graduated, and so like all my friends have kind of been communicating with me through a Discord chat. Like it's all been video calls or audio calls. So getting to like hang out with everybody again, because I've only been back like once or twice. It's just gonna be great, I think. So
Rookie numbers right there, buddy. You got to be back every weekend.
dude, if I wasn't working 2 jobs, I'd be back every single time I had the opportunity.
Hayden is grinding.
I need
I
money
mean,
so
you got to
bad.
be grinding, right? In
As
this
a teacher,
economy,
you have to be. Yeah.
I don't think that's a cheesy response. I think that's what my response was going to be, because I was like thinking back, so I was in Platteville for our exec retreat in December. So like I had been back semi recently. But this is going to be my first spring banquet since my junior year spring banquet. So I haven't been back to one for
wow, that's a
like
long
5.
time.
I know, because
Yeah.
like my senior year one got canceled because of COVID, so didn't have that, and then for the 3 years after that, when I was in grad school, I was just so far away that I couldn't make it back for a weekend, and so yeah, this will be the first one that I'm actually gonna be able to like relatively close back for, so I'm really excited. Um, I think just to meet a lot of people. Like at the exec retreat, I got to meet a lot of the new guys that are taking on some leadership roles. But through my position as secretary, like I'm in contact with a bunch of different people, and I don't always have like faces to put to names. And so this will be my opportunity to be like, oh, this is whoever that I've been talking to, and I can see who it is now.
Yeah.
I totally get
So
that, especially like
yeah,
once you're like removed so far in the chapter now, like all the people that you knew when you left the chapter have graduated now, basically, except
pretty
for like
much, or they're
Seth. Seth
graduating
is
this spring.
Seth and Jason are the only ones who basically haven't graduated at this point. They're the holdouts,
Yeah.
but
Yeah,
everyone
so
else has graduated who you recruited in your recruitment term, and that was all the freshmen basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a bunch of new people. So that's gonna be a good time, and then again, just to see a bunch of alumni. Like I said, I've seen the list, so like I mean, I guess I can just reveal some people since it's coming afterwards. But like,
Some
like
VIPs maybe.
some VIPs. No, like people like Tom Barnes planning on being there. I haven't talked to that man in quite a long time, but he emails me every once in a while and we chit chat about ABC kind of stuff. So getting to see him. Jesse and Solberger are both coming back, and I haven't seen either of them since I graduated, probably.
Now, Jesse and Solberger pretty much come back every year, I think. So that's really exciting that you get to see him again.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I haven't seen them in a while, so it'll be good to catch up with them. Our whole like ABC board is going to be there, so that will we've obviously communicate quite a lot, but to have everybody in person and
Yeah.
being there to promote the
Yeah.
ABC and what's going on and what everything that's going on is gonna be a great time. So yeah, I think it's just gonna be an overall fun weekend. I'm excited to see everybody. And like you said, like I think it's cool that we've kind of started planning like other events outside of the usual things that we normally do. Which
Yeah.
I mean, the whiskey tasting was all like Sean's idea. Like you've been
Yeah, so that's because of CLA. So like we went to CLA this spring, and I went to CLA with Ian. Him and I both went as like ABC volunteers because he's chapter counselor and I'm a trustee. And I like going to CLA anyways. It's a lot of fun just to connect with undergraduates and connect to the national scene. It's just really fun to be a part of that. And at CLA, they talked about some like more mature events that might cater to more of your seniors and your upperclassmen in your chapters and to alumni members. And they said that whiskey tasting was really popular and that they've actually done whiskey tasting in a number of different formats in other chapters. I believe one of the Indiana chapters said that their FSL advisor had invited the seniors of their chapter to come do a whiskey tasting as like a graduation thing, kind of like when Tom had taken us on the riverboat, Hayden, in our junior year, I think.
I think
So
so, yeah.
I think that's the kind of similar format, and I kind of wanted to do something in a way to bring our alumni together a little bit more too, and have the undergraduate seniors there too.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I think it's a fantastic idea. I know, like, we've been trying to figure out more, like, collaborative events like that we can do. And, I hated to mention the golf outing. That's another one that, like, is not something that has been done in the past, but we're trying. So, we got this golf outing to raise awareness for, is it childhood diabetes or just diabetes in general?
I believe it's just diabetes in general, but I
Okay.
could fact check that real quick. I just saw.
I'm fact checking as we're speaking right now.
I got the email.
That's been some
Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation.
I knew it was childhood. I was close. But that's an event that was created through some collaboration between our new director of philanthropy role, Mr. Josh Miller, and Kelby, who's doing some philanthropy stuff on the undergrad side of things. So to see, like I said, just to see that collaboration and kind of the direction we're going with that is really, really cool. And hopefully we can see some more stuff going forward. I know there's some inklings about stuff that we're doing for homecoming already, and that's going to be kind of exciting. And then obviously Sean's doing all this stuff for 25-year banquet. So we're going to promote it as much as we can right now on the pod.
Right. Oh, definitely. By the way, just a quick shout out to Kelby though. Big hats off to him for planning the golf outing. I just wanted to say that, give him a quick shout out, because that is a lot of work to plan a golf outing, or just planning any event during banquet weekend can be pretty tumultuous, and it's not easy to plan events that are outside of our normal stuff during banquet weekend. So hats off to Kelby for making that happen and making it a philanthropy event too.
Yeah, it's organized
really quick.
Yeah. Organized fast. It was organized really efficiently. Like all together, it's just really well put together.
So, and I hope we have good weather this weekend, so it can all go well.
We should.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about that. Like, the weather's been fantastic these last couple of days. Have you guys been able to get out and enjoy it all?
Oh yeah,
I got to yesterday. Yeah.
Very good.
Doing cutting down trees and such. The usual. That's why I'm so strong.
It was really nice. I actually slept with my window open last night. I'm not really sure if it was the greatest choice, but it was like really nice having all the warmer air coming into the apartment last night. And then it got like into the 40s again at night, and I'm like, oh, well.
Yes.
During the day, it's really nice, though. It was really nice driving on my way home from work, because now I'm able to drive with the windows down all the time now. And that's a lot of fun, driving with the windows down and screaming like it's Thursday night karaoke.
It's just Thursday night karaoke on the go. It's mobile karaoke.
Yeah, it's was it Carpool Karaoke? That was a show for a while.
Yeah, there you go. Sean McGrath's Carpool Karaoke.
Yeah, who's gonna be my first guest? Grace is a pretty occasional guest on that one.
Are you a good singer,
but it's just me who does all the singing.
Are you a good singer?
Oh, I'm a spectacular singer, Austin.
Oh, are you gonna put a song on right now?
No, it's not Thursday. We can't do it. It's not karaoke night. You can't put me on the spot like that. It's out of season right now.
Put you on the spot if you're gonna brag about your singing abilities.
Well, I will brag about my singing abilities. It's not really something you do on a podcast,
Okay, that's fair. Another episode.
But if you must know, my go-to karaoke song is because of Hayden, though, and it's California Girls.
That's right.
And Hayden popularized the song for me.
Is it because of that big playlist I had of all the like old 2000s, 2010s music?
It was when we were at Ryan's house that one night, Hayden, and
yes,
you had called me out after that night for playing California Girls and jumping around like a lunatic and like belting out the lyrics while Weber was on the ground.
Yeah,
just out of it.
I will say, you were having a good time. I wanted to recognize you're having a good time.
And just for your information, whenever they play California Girls from now on, they almost always will send me a video of it on Snapchat.
That's your song.
I don't think they've ever missed. They've never missed a beat on it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's always like we hear it come on, and then everybody has that moment where like they all look at each other like those wide-eyed lips, and someone gets their phone out to record it for Sean every time.
It's so good. I love it so much, and I hope it never stops.
That's some of your lifelong legacy.
Yeah, we're gonna be
Sean
playing that at my wedding.
California Girl.
The single solo California Girl.
Yeah. Katy Perry actually wrote that song for me.
We need to request California Girls this weekend at some point.
Yes.
Do we have a dance floor for banquet this year or no?
I don't
think we do.
But if we don't, I'll just play it on my phone and then we'll make Sean sing it to the Facebook Live.
We could maybe make that happen. Okay.
Anyway, to get back on topic, like I said, so Spring Banquet's coming up this weekend, so we want to do a podcast just to kind of talk about, past Spring Banquets, our favorite memories from it. Again, promoting some of the future plans for banquets. So, like what I'm sure you guys have some fantastic Spring Banquet memories. I don't know who wants to get started on what some of their favorites have been.
Sean, I'll let you tee this one off.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for putting me on the spot.
Of course.
I gotta say, like, one of the things that kind of sucked for us as like for Hayden and I is that we missed out on both our first two spring banquets because of COVID. We missed out on the 2020 spring banquet because of COVID sending us home, and then like our 2021 spring banquet was in the living room of Pine Street, wasn't it? That was it 520?
I think so.
I can't remember that. I can't remember the address.
It was. It was because it was 20.
It was 440. It was 440. Yeah, we were at 440, and it was
West
like
Pine.
the living room. And I remember afterwards, it was a really nice day too for that one. But we were like, wow, that was so anticlimactic. We just did an online banquet, and everyone's just sitting in the living room, and nobody showed up. By the way, there was no alumni showed up. It was like just Tim and Baker. Yeah, I can't imagine why either. And just a couple people on a Zoom call.
Wait, that was your guys' first spring banquet?
Yeah, that was our first spring banquet.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Which kind of sucked, but yeah.
That is pretty terrible. Okay.
But to the good memories, all right? It's not all just bad memories. So like our first spring banquet in like 2022, that was like really so much fun for us because Hayden and I had never seen a burning heart before. And being able to, I was VP comms during that time as well, so I was really trying to push the promotion of Burning Heart. And then I remember how nervous I was getting up to the Burning Heart in general because since I was the comms at the time, it was my responsibility to try to get good pictures. By the way, spoiler, I did not get any good pictures of the Burning Heart. We learned from Burning Heart that we shouldn't be so far away. We were like, I think almost like a mile away from the M when we did Burning Heart our first year. And Platteville's like notorious for being windy and rainy during spring, and that Friday was not different than any other Friday, and it was like so windy I couldn't keep the camera still to get a good picture of the burning art when we were doing it. So I remember just like panicking after we were done with Burning Heart that I didn't get any good pictures, and I am just giving up. And the rest of the weekend we had a good time though. I had to say like the softball game, it was fun doing pictures for that too because like that was like the first spring banquet in a while. So a lot of these alumni were like they were being absolute clowns on the softball field. I think somebody brought like a 12-pack of Miller Lights and they were cracking them open after home runs on the diamond. And Jimmer was like gloating on everybody. Like he was trash talking up the 9, like in Jimmer fashion, like of course. So, and we lost by a landslide, but it was also just like it was the most fun seeing some of the guys hit dingers. I think that was when CJ or Tim hit a home run so far that it was like way the heck out of the baseball diamond. And that's
impressive.
And that was just such a great time. So can't wait to lose this year. Honestly, I don't have very high expectations for our softball team this year. We don't have Chad. We're not going to have Chad.
Oh, you're right. We don't have Chad.
Chad's gone this year.
We have some of the usual greats.
Yeah, but do we have Chad's bats, though, is the question. If we have Chad's bats, we probably have a better chance of winning.
I don't know what's going on with any of that. I don't participate in the baseball game because I'm not good at baseball or softball.
Well, you might have to this Sunday if we don't have enough people.
No, you guys will just rotate out. We'll be fine.
It doesn't work like that when you have to field, though.
No, I'll be fine. I'll be fine.
Like, I'm like looking on Amazon here. I gotta get a glove still, so I need to hurry up and buy a glove so I can get here before Friday.
If I have to play, I'm just gonna freehand it. I don't need a glove.
You're gonna freehand it?
Mm-hmm. Not like I'll get any balls sent to me anyway, so.
you do, I'll probably just drop them.
They all say.
I'll just probably drop all of them.
Did the undergrads ever win a game while you guys were in the chapter?
Yeah, we won last year.
Yeah, we won last year's game.
We absolutely destroyed the alumni last year.
Yeah, I got to rub that.
That's also because none of the alumni showed up, I think, either. It was the most bottom of the barrel team. Like they were like desperate for anybody to play.
Oh goodness. We need I wonder if like we have an official like count somewhere. I'm sure that we don't. It's just gonna be word of mouth and people saying like, oh yeah, the alumni have won more. But like I don't know if we had a lot, like you said, like we had a lot of pretty decent baseball players like in the chapter during some of my spring banquets. I'm not even sure if we won any of those. I'm sure that we probably did.
It was a miracle that we won, but we had like a ton of like undergraduates who play softball, like Tim Hyam. He played softball, and CJ played softball, and Roland played softball. And by the way, they're on the undergraduate team this year, so that's why I'm saying we might be in a little bit of hot water.
Oh, they might get smoked. Yeah, probably.
We might get smoked, but also we have the Kyle Brown on our team this year, so
yeah, I got to see his prime.
To go. Yeah,
we got Kyle Brown at his best.
We have Kyle and Jason Rose Jr. By the way, Jason's pretty good. I feel like.
We have Mr. Glass-Knee Solberger himself.
Is Jake Haran coming back? Because Jake got hit in the head with the softball last year.
Oh, really? I don't think Jake is planning on coming back. I think I said I know Solberger, Jesse will probably play. Jared's gonna be there. He'll play. I'm sure Tim will play if we force him to.
You don't get a choice, Tim.
You can probably convince Dom to play if he doesn't have to go back too early.
Yeah.
Like I said,
it'll be an interesting
quite a lot
team.
of alumni coming back, so it'll be a ragtag little group, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have to exercise that one athletic bone in my body this weekend. Depending if we're not too hungover, honestly, because that's kind of a contributing factor to that too. I remember last year as well. My fiance Grace, she's like a nurse, so she has like a first aid kit in the back of her car, and a bunch of the alumni were like rolling up, and they were like, "Does anybody have ibuprofen?" And Grace is like, "Well, just so happens that I'm a nurse," and she whips out the first aid kit and is like passing around ibuprofen for everybody. And she's saying that we might bring like a cooler full of like orange slices and Gatorade for all the alumni.
You and Grace are gonna be like the moms of the team.
The soccer mom of the team, yeah, basically. She said that she really wanted to do this after last year. She's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna kid it out in the nines here. We're gonna be showing up like it's soccer practice to their kids with all the snacks and everything."
I think you brought up a good point there, because I don't know if people know, but this big Platteville pub crawl is also on Saturday, the same day that we're doing.
Wait, it's on Saturday too?
Yes.
Oh
I don't know.
Man.
That's why the hotels were super expensive if you're looking at hotel rooms, and everything was booked out, because for some background information, we plan these banquets and reserve them years in advance usually. So that we can get the bookings for the rooms. And as we were coming up to this one, somebody had just mentioned it at one of the ABC meetings, and I was like, "This is a thing." Apparently, it is.
It's a big thing. The Platteville pub crawl is very big.
Yeah, and it just so happened to also fall on the same day. So while we're doing all this other stuff, there's gonna be people getting hammered all day.
I feel like we're also
not from our chapter.
I feel like we're also neglecting to acknowledge the fact that we also planned our banquet on 420, and I feel like the Platteville pub crawl was intentionally planned on 420.
Probably. I wasn't gonna say anything about the 420 planning, but it just so happened to fall on 420. Yes.
It's just a coincidence, guys. It's just a
coincidence.
But so yeah, it's gonna be wild. I haven't talked about plans for after stuff, but I'm sure the bars are going to be jam packed. I don't know if I'm.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, because pub crawl isn't just during the day thing; it's a whole day thing.
Yeah. So it's gonna, like I said, I don't know if you guys are staying at hotels or stuff, but I booked a hotel 4 months ago once I heard about that because I needed to make sure I got to get a room, and they were already almost all booked. So,
I think Grace and I booked
Where
our hotel last month in March, and it wasn't too
yeah.
terrible.
No, where'd you guys book at?
I think I'm at the Country Inn.
I think I'm also at the Country Inn. Is that the one down by Country Kitchen?
Yeah, it's the one by the Quick Trip and Dairy Queen.
Yeah. Oh.
It's the one right next to Quick Trip, basically.
It's like across the street from Walgreens.
Yeah,
Okay,
and it's not the Super 8.
I'm at the Super. I think I'm at the Super 8 with.
Oh,
me,
that's
Jared,
not the good
Austin.
one.
I'm at the Super 8.
Oh, you're at the Super 8?
We'll be partying at the Super 8.
Oh man, because I thought the Super 8 was like supposed to be like the worst. That's the worst hotel in Platteville.
You know what? If it's the worst one, I don't care. It's the cheapest. It was the cheapest, and I'm only staying for one night, so it's just like I'll
it's
go.
It's a 2-star hotel compared to a 3-star, which is the Country Inn.
Look, I'm working on a teacher salary here, man. If I can sleep somewhere for $180, then I'm gonna sleep somewhere with a bed for $180.
I mean, that's fair. I guess
it was that or an air mattress in the living room of 405 West Main, and I think I wanted to sleep in a bed.
The amount of times I've slept on the Sigap House couch when I come to Platteville, or like the 405 couch, and wake up super hungover is too many times now. And the funny thing is, I'll be going back to Platteville the weekend after Banquet as well for the leadership awards. I haven't told the undergraduates yet, but Rebecca was telling me I should come back as a surprise for them. So I'm coming back the weekend after as well.
A bunch of us that weekend after the 27th, a bunch of us are gonna be up for Chad and Elizabeth's wedding. I know me and Jason and Jace are all getting. Us three, and then Carissa, Ashley, and Emily, we're all getting Airbnb up there. So it's like
nice.
$60 to $80 a person, which is
that's pretty good. Yeah,
there's so many Sigap weddings.
Oh yeah, 4. It's wedding season. Yeah. It's upon us. We got Max and Haley's wedding this May.
Yep.
And then
Chad and Elizabeth's next week or this weekend.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Weekend, next weekend. And then there's Soper. I also got
Soper in August. Yours. Yeah, and then mine next year in June.
Yeah,
they're just coming fast and quick.
And I've got some non-Sigap weddings too. I have Rebecca and Tyler are getting married in August, so
that's another wedding. One the weekend after Haley and Max's. I'm just gonna be gone every single weekend in May. Like, just too busy.
It's gonna get crazy.
Yeah,
constant stuff.
And then for Chad's wedding, on top of having the wedding in general, I'm also in the wedding party. So, there's a bunch of prep for that. And I think it was a pity decision. I get to play.
Pity decision? You're his little, aren't you?
Don't say that. It's a pity decision.
Pity decision to bring me along?
I'm about to revoke your status.
They all know that they had to add $100 worth of food for just me, obviously.
No, I had to warn the catering service that you were a part of the wedding party, huh?
Yeah, they sent out a nuke alert. Be absolutely prepared. Have the bunker stocked with fresh pizzas. No, I'm
bring the pizza pizzazz.
Yeah, I'm in as ring security.
I'm still
a little fuzzy on the details, but it sounds like what would be like a ring girl, like a little, like if it was somebody who had like a daughter, like their daughter's like the ring bearer, like a flower girl. Yeah. Me and Jason, I think what originally the plan was for like Jason and I were gonna be. We had these black Men in Black suits with like the earpieces and the shades and like an ID badge, and like we had these tiny suitcases. Jason's gonna have the rings. And then they were going to have me have one with flowers in it and just straight face walk down the aisle, just throwing them out of a mini suitcase. That would have been my favorite. But
that's awesome. That's awesome.
They've got
so are you you guys gonna do the opportunity of the funny, right? You're gonna do the get down, Mr. President, right?
God no.
No?
Why not?
You don't want to ruin the wedding day? I mean, make the wedding day better?
If anything, I'm saving that energy for Kyle.
I mean, that's fair, I guess.
I don't know when that one's gonna be, but when it happens, I'll be there for the Mr. President stuff. No, it's pretty fun. I'm looking forward to it. I never get invited to weddings because I don't have anybody that I'm like close enough with family wise. All the weddings have been like these people who are way, way distant cousins who are like getting married, and it's like the weddings in Colorado. I'm not coming all the way to Colorado for this wedding. I hardly even know the person. But now I'm graduated, and all the people who I went to school with are like getting engaged or getting married, and it's like, man,
How
now I
big is
gotta go
Chad
to
Elizabeth's wedding
weddings.
going to be? Do you know? Is it going to be a
I
big
don't
wedding?
know. I have no idea,
Well, I hope you're prepared because mine's a big wedding.
dude. Look, as long as there's a dance floor, the party will start when I walk in the room.
Oh.
Busting it down on the dance floor. You already know.
That's fun drinks. That's all you need.
I probably embarrassed myself with 0 in my system, to be honest, but
I mean, I'm right there with you, Hayden. This is coming from the
yeah,
guy, like I said, who treats a car ride like it's karaoke night at Brothers. So
yeah. It's your wedding, so you'll have to put California Girls on, and I'll jump around like an idiot.
what?
We'll
No,
switch
that's
the
that's
rules.
reserved to
No.
me. That's only reserved to me.
Sean will be the
Well,
only one on the dance floor when it's on.
yeah,
Yeah,
clear
and my
completely
family's gonna
for
give
him.
me a horrified look. My family's gonna give me the most horrified look of, what did this is? Who is this? What happened to Sean? Is he drunk right now? No, he hasn't had a single drink yet. This is what he does when he listens to California Girls.
Just let all the brothers who are in attendance know that California Girls is about to play, and then everybody will be escorted off the floor, and it would just be Sean, spotlight in the middle, busting a move to Katy Perry.
Busting it down to Katy Perry.
Oh, I hate it. What
Yeah.
about you? Favorite spring banquet memories?
Favorite. Well, I gotta backtrack a little bit because Sean brought up the first one, and I was sitting here while he was talking, trying to think about like, okay, go through all the spring banquets, and then I'm like, man, my memory sucks because I don't remember my
I'm blaming COVID for that.
spring of my first year, and then I'm like, we never had one because COVID hit, so that sucked. Even the one after that, yeah, like having like that really small get together in the living room was like we had. It was kind of it almost turned into something that was like, let's get this out of the way because it's probably not going to go great, which kind of sucked because I think that was 20-year banquet.
It
So they were
was. It
trying
was.
to make it a big thing because it was like this big banquet, but we had all these regulations in place. So a little bit of a bummer, and then all the spring banquets after that have been pretty normal. I feel like. Um, I will say that like all the formal stuff happens. There's a lot of awards given out, AVC and undergrad both, and those are always great to see people winning awards and whatnot. But I think the one, and I don't even know why I look back so fondly on this memory, but I believe it was just last year's banquet when Jurgis got on stage, took the mic, and gave his whole presentation on SIG Up Rising and the housing campaign. Like, I thought that was going to be a quick spiel where it's like, hey, this is what's going on.
No.
Dude,
Building a cathedral.
Look, I know I don't even, how do I like approach this situation? With me, I've always, because working with him back and forth with recruitment was one thing, and like we've kept in touch a little bit, but like I've always known he was good at like public speaking stuff, and he could do that kind of thing. But when he got up there and he was giving that presentation, I was getting hyped up in my seat. I'm like, yeah, I want to donate to this housing campaign, and like just the way he like had it all set up and presented, it was really, really, it was professional, but it was also like it got me excited, and I'm never gonna get to live in that house that we're building. But I'm like, to provide a better place for the generations after us. That's kind of what it's always been about, knowing that you've only got a few years. So, like,
Vegas is gonna love that you're plugging this into the podcast.
Yeah, hey, SIG Up Rising, the housing campaign, what we're building here at Wisconsin Data. Man, I'm surprised. I wasn't.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, no. I just like there are so many like fun things too, like that we did every year, even though years where it was just in the living room. that like I'm sure I could recall, but like I think it's probably this one was the most shocking to me because I'm like, okay, Jurgis is going to talk about the housing campaign, and like I'll get a little bit more informed about what's going on. And then like it was like a whole sales pitch. I felt like I was the judge or like I was Kevin O'Leary in Shark Tank, and he was pitching it to me. I was completely invested.
It was like
So like
expectations were
yeah,
down here because we was like, oh, he's talking about the housing campaign, but then the reality was just like blew your socks off.
well, and that was the thing, and maybe it's just the fact that it was such a well put together presentation in general, but like
Yeah.
everything that I had known before that was we currently have like this plan set in place for what the housing campaign is going to be, and like it was kind of just a whisper here and there, and like I got to be part of it because I did like the initial search for like a temporary property, so I was a little bit in the loop, but I guess I wasn't as in the loop as I thought I was because then he comes out the gates with this presentation and it's like, if you donate, this is all the tiers that you could be a part of, and like if you do this much, you can get this as a thank you gift, and like you'll have your name on a brick if you do this much. And I was like, whoa, just right out the gate swinging. He had the whole graphic for how much money we had raised. So
The little
like,
thermostat thing, yeah.
yes, I think it's probably because I would relate it to like being my most shocking spring banquet memory. But with most things that are announced, it's not. I mean, we can all honestly agree that nothing that we announce is something that gets you up and out of your seat and clapping super loud, like "Oh my god!" But this was one of those things where, like, you kind of turn to the people around you and you're like, "Damn, that was actually really good, really nice presentation. I didn't expect it to be so, super thought out like that." And kind of like laid it on the table. So like, yeah, it got me hyped up and made me want to like be invested in this housing campaign. So
You definitely put a lot of work into it. I mean, I was on some of the initial like committees that were helping recruit people and doing all that stuff for it, and so um,
yeah,
we kind of planned out like what are we gonna present, what do we need to say, like when I completely forgot that was only last year that we like went public with that because I've been working on it for a little bit, but yeah, like that was definitely a huge thing, and obviously we
yeah,
wanted to do it at like maybe a slightly bigger banquet or something, but plans for that have been going along pretty smoothly right now, so that is going to be
yeah.
exciting.
Well, and I think too, like obviously, the class that I went in with, the class of 2019, fall 2019, those guys, we kind of staggered graduation. Like some of us were in the spring of 2022,
I mean
um,
23.
or 23, yeah, not 22. And then like me, I was the winter of 23. So like that right there alone, and then you have the group after them that'll graduate this upcoming semester, like you said with Seth, Jace, and some of the other guys. Um, a lot of those people, are they've always been really tight knit and like really wanting to like give to the chapter. And I think myself included, like once we're out into the workforce, we get salaries in and we can like afford to actually contribute meaningfully to something like this. I think that'll definitely start to show too. So like, we're excited for it, I think. And like again, every spring banquet, I'm sure there'll be updates on that, how the like process has gone and how much we've gotten more than the last year, and watching that bar fill up to our goal. If we could hit the goal by a 25-year banquet, man, that would be a heck of a presentation to give there, at the one of the biggest
Yeah.
banquets and one of the biggest announcements. So
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, Jurgis is going to talk a little bit about it this weekend, I think. But
Yeah.
we just had an exec meeting and we were talking about some of the stuff, and we actually are starting. We had reached out to a like design firm, to kind of get some, you know, kind of tentative like plans and some like designs and some sketches kind of made. So like we're on a good track, and I'm very curious to see what comes from those because we have certain things we can suggest or say that we want in terms of what we're looking for in the house. And to see an architect like actually give us the plans and give us like they're gonna do like a whole 3D model and all that stuff, like that's gonna be sweet.
Yeah.
I agree.
So
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. And
yeah.
actually, I was just obviously I don't want to speak for too long, but I did just think also like kind of letting it sit for a little bit. Um, both the spring banquets I've actually had a chance to be at and like in person for, not the first 2 years where it's kind of sucked. Um, I both times. So another facet of the actual banquet itself that we hadn't really mentioned yet was the silent auction that happens every year,
Mm-hmm.
and like you get both alumni and undergrads who can go up and like put their bids in silently, and then you go back later and figure out someone's outbidding you, and then you're upset with them. Both years I've had my sights set on something, and both years I've got what I wanted.
Ooh.
And just last year, and again, if anybody knows anything about me personally, you know that I like I like novelty things, and I spend too much money. And so last year they had an antique. It was like an antique phone that like one of those old phone receivers, like the dial-up receivers. But it was like the golf bag, like the golf club bag phone.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember seeing that, but
I
I
think I
got that.
remember that.
And then the year before, there was two Scene It games. One was just normal Scene It, and the other one was like old early 2000s like Marvel Scene It. And I'm a big Marvel guy, so I'm like, why? I'll put my money in towards that, and got those too. So like that's another good memory is just being able to do that stuff and like being competitive with somebody till like the last minute and then finally getting it. But makes me look forward to this year, see what's on the tables this year.
I remember that,
There's
like, people
some
were,
good
like,
stuff.
bidding back and forth on, there was, like, a big bottle, like a big beer bottle that somebody was
Oh
bidding
yeah,
on. And then
the
there's, like,
Stein
some,
too.
like, yeah, like, some clay thing as well. There
Yeah,
was a
the
ton of,
Stein
like,
because
bidding.
Jace
Yeah,
got
it was a
that.
Stein. Yeah, and it's in Jace's room still, I think, yeah.
Yep, he still has it up there. Yeah.
Alright, Austin, we blabbered on enough.
Yeah, I mean, so I had, like I said, three spring banquets I got to experience, and then the senior one that I missed out on. So maybe I'll just try to highlight what I remember from the three, if I can even remember. My memory is always terrible. I'm so bad at telling stories. Um, so my first spring banquet, I had been in SIGAP since the fall, and had been involved for a little bit. But that first spring banquet, I remember, as a freshman, like I invited my parents, so they got to kind of see like what I had been involved in and meet all these different guys. Um, and one of my best memories from that one actually was I met Matt Sides, an alumni that at that banquet, and I remember it like was such a like he just randomly came up to my family and like introduced himself, and just was talking to them about SIGEP and how like I just everything that we promote when recruiting, like how good the organization is, like why it's great to see that like I had joined, um, and that was one of my first experiences just meeting like alumni in general, and so to meet somebody like that who's I mean he is very wise, but to we had conversation for probably a solid like hour and a half, like just talking about different stuff, and so it was cool to have that kind of experience, and really like kind of roped me a bit more into like how much of the I don't know, like the networking and all the alumni kind of aspects of it, that maybe I hadn't necessarily seen right away, but then got to see then. So that was like a memory that sticks with me. I think that the softball game that year, like again, I'm terrible at softball, so I go to the games and watch but never play. I
Do
think
you
that was
trash
the
talk at
year.
least? Do you trash talk during the
Oh,
games?
I mean, yeah, I tried to.
Everyone was so upset that I didn't play, but yet I like trash talked the entire game. Like I just sat on the sidelines and heckled the alumni the entire time.
That's what makes it
Oh,
fun, though.
jeez. But I think it was either my freshman year or the sophomore year one. But again, Mr. Glassney Solberger, who I already talked about, was playing, and like I think he slid into a base and just like blew out his knee. Like it was really
Oh,
bad,
jeez.
and I'm pretty sure that's where he got the nickname Glass Knees, because like it was. I just recall it being bad, and we were like sober. We're like, you probably should not be like, let alone sliding. Like maybe not playing as hard. Like we get it, we want to win, but like, you know,
He just
so
made the greatest sacrifice, man. He sacrificed his body for the team.
you know what? That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Like he goes hard, so I'm expecting him to go hard this weekend too.
Expecting an
but
ambulance being called to the field.
yeah.
Hopefully not. I don't want anyone to have to go to the hospital.
Hopefully not. But yeah, so that's what I remember from freshman year / like sophomore year. I think honestly, I can't remember my sophomore year one too much. I know my junior year one. Hayden was talking about awards and stuff. I won an award. I think it was Brotherly Love. And I was so excited that I had won this award, and like I was like, you know, like celebrating with it, and then I think I immediately dropped it after I fell off the stage and broke it.
What? That's
yeah, like
so
I broke.
sad.
It was like the plaque ones. And
It's got like it's like a clear base and a clear back piece. Yeah.
Oh no, I didn't break that one. I still have that one. Maybe I'm thinking of an earlier year then, but I got an award, and it was like it's a plaque, like a wooden plaque with like a nice you know thing on the front, and I dropped it and like broke off a corner of the thing. I was like, oh, shit, like so and then everyone's making fun of me for that, of course. So yeah, I think those are like the memories that like I remember. Again, I'm not good at remembering stuff or telling stories. I know there's been some pretty good like senior speeches throughout the years. Like I recall like Carson Doney had like a really good one. And then some of the guys that have been there for like many years, you know, like that were on like 5 or 6 year like degree tracks had some pretty good ones. I'm very thankful that I didn't have to do my senior speech just because I'm not very good. I hate public speaking and I don't know what I talk about.
You should have heard my speech, bro.
Did you ramble on and on?
They thought Kyle said for my senior speech that he was going to, or that him and like Wyatt and Tim, that group, I think it was him, Tim, Wyatt, Cole, and Keith all had talked and like had a bet. They set an over under on time for my speech, and I did go way under. I made it like a page long with double space and stuff, so it wasn't terrible. But I tried to keep it like funny, like kind of resemble like the personality I had in college, so it wasn't like super like cheesy and serious the whole time. I think I quoted Master Oogway or something like that.
Hey, Master Oogway is iconic though, so that's fair. That's fair.
As Master Oogway, and then like, man, I don't remember who the other one was, but definitely him.
I'll tell you what. No, sorry. Keep going.
No, I was just gonna say it was his like yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, today's a gift. That's why they call it a present, and that was my quote I used. So
nice.
That's a good one. I'll tell you what. The thing I'm not looking forward to this weekend is we have, I believe, 11 senior speeches.
I thought it was 12.
Oh, yeah.
11 or 12.
I think it was 12, but Chris Soper's not going to be there, so I think it's 11.
Oh, I think he has drill
he's not
going
to be there?
He has military. This is his last military drill this weekend, actually.
Mm-hmm. Fitting.
And then he's done with the Marine Corps.
Yeah, that's exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, 11 senior speeches, like so many that like Chris Yergis, our ABC president, decided not to give a speech this year because we have so many people talking.
They put like a time cap. They're only allowed to do like 50 minutes of speaking, I think. So they have like 3 minutes each for each speaker.
Yeah. So yeah.
Jeez.
Either way, they're gonna be very long.
We gotta do like a live reaction. We should do like a live reaction. Do like a live stream and do like a reaction video of it.
I think we will be live streaming as the sounds of it, so that'll be exciting.
Some of the guys when I graduated, they did like so. I think Nate Cross graduated same class as me, and I'm pretty sure his speech was pretty chill. I know Cole Olson went up there and he said like, "Thanks for everything," or like, "I'll keep it short." appreciate it, and then like that was it. I'm sure there'll be a few of those guys in this group, but I know there'll be some that definitely talk for a bit. So
Ian was like
Yeah.
this close to having like a 10-minute speech during our senior speeches, by the way.
yeah,
Holy crap!
He
I don't
was
doubt
That
asked.
man can talk. That man can talk, though. I mean,
We
I'm
were
not
like,
surprised.
we were like going over like how long our speeches were, and I was like, it's like 3 minutes. And he's like, Ian's like, wait, mine's more than 5 minutes. Should I shorten mine up? And we're like, yeah, 10
Yeah,
minutes
probably
is
so.
super long.
dude,
So he
I
ended
wanted
up
to
like
keep mine under
cutting that
3.
thing down.
Yeah,
I feel like
I
more
told
than 3
Jason
minutes is a
everybody that
lot.
I was collaborating with on that. I'm like,
Mhm.
nobody should be going over 3 minutes in my opinion. So I could try to keep mine under a minute and a half. I think was my goal.
Yeah.
I think that's a good time to aim for.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, yeah, I think we're all looking forward to Spring Banquet this weekend. It's gonna be exciting. Like I said, we'll be live with the Facebook feed doing some stuff. There may be a potential that we're doing some stuff with the podcast. Not 100% sure yet. That
Up in the
we'll
air
hear
really
this
right now.
yeah, up in the air. You might hear this and like there might not be anything, so don't get hopes up. But um, you know, yeah, I mean, we talked at the beginning of the podcast about some different we have a 25-year banquet coming up, and it's very exciting. And Sean's been very involved in the planning of that. He's the head of the committee, so Sean, quick spiel, just kind of talk about some of the progress with that.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll
And
quickly skim through it here because I know Austin need to get going. So,
yeah, we got some time constraints
basically,
tonight.
basically, we are right now finishing up our initial survey of the Wisconsin Theta group, basically of all the alumni and the undergraduates. We sent out a survey starting back in March, basically trying to gauge on where people want to hold banquet, what people want to see for programming, and what kind of things that they in general want to see for us to have out a 25-year banquet. Not to really spoil what's going to be happening too much, but it's starting to look like it's going to be like a Friday through Sunday kind of deal, like our normal formal banquets will be. And we're looking to add some more elements like normal conclave have. One of a couple of things that we had during our programming section, I should say, was people had shown a lot of interest in doing a fall showing of Burning Heart, and there was a couple other things that could maybe give us an opportunity to do maybe a ritual demonstration for brothers who had been through the Epsilon Rite of Passage or who had just been initiated through the chapter, because I know they've changed the RLP throughout the years. There's
Yeah.
some potential for that, and then just holding a lot more formal of a awards night as well than we have in the past to talk about a lot of the highlights of being a chapter that's 25 years old, and also is just the possibility of inviting a lot more celebrities in the national scene. I know that our current grand chapter president, he has talked about coming to 25-year banquet, and a bunch of other people from nationals. So those are
A
all
lot of those
really
guys are from
exciting
chapters that are
things.
close, so like it's
Yeah.
possible. I would
So
love if Mr. Brad Narstad showed up.
right,
I
I would
haven't
love
talked
if
to him.
Narset would
I
show
haven't
up. So
talked to him in quite a while.
he's been begging to show up for a couple of years now. So a
Mhm.
lot of really exciting stuff. We'll have to have an episode dedicated to talking about 25-year banquet, really,
Oh
or
yeah.
even just like we're gonna have a lot more information coming out at the end of this year. Once my committee and I really start kicking into high gear and starting to like book rooms and starting to book the spaces that we want to do and starting to actually do the
Mhm.
programming of it. Once all that stuff starts falling into place, we can really start talking about how amazing our 25-year banquet's going to be.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to get you on for a solo pod, and you'll be number 4, episode number 4 that you're on.
If not number 5,
Or number
could be on
5. I mean,
sooner.
I might do more fun stuff in that time. Who knows?
Definitely a possibility there.
Yeah, like I said, just because of some time constraint stuff, we're having to kind of end a little more abruptly than usual. But yeah, like I said, I think we're all excited for Banquet coming up this weekend. It's gonna be a good time. Look out for different stuff. I mean, going forward, like our crew has been talking about some of the stuff we're doing with the podcast as well, and so we've got a bunch of episodes coming up planned that should be really exciting. Different people that maybe haven't been on before, or we're going to follow up with some people that may have been on like a really early episode of the podcast. And that was almost a year ago for some of the people. So to get what's it called, the retrospective, I guess, kind of look like how that year's kind of been, what they've been kind of involved in, will be super cool. But thank you, gentlemen, for joining me tonight to kind of talk about this. Forward to seeing both of you this weekend, and like I said, we'll have to get Hayden. We'll definitely get you on a solo pod here to talk about some different stuff that you're getting involved in now with the alumni, and talk about your story. And then Sean, same thing. We'll get you back on.
We have to make sure we get a picture of the podcast crew this weekend. When we're at
Sure. Oh yeah, all four of us will be.
We
are
going serious practice.
We'll be looking to fly.
I'm excited for it.
It's gonna be so awesome. So I can't wait to see you guys all this weekend. It's gonna be really spectacular.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me too. Nice first episode.
Yeah,
I know. Now you're gonna be on more too. You're gonna be included on all of our podcast group pods that we do.
Now I have the Yap Pass, so.
Alrighty, gentlemen. Again, thank you guys for coming on. For everybody that's listening, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Make sure you guys are following the pages for where these episodes come out, because we only have 6 subscribers on YouTube. So go subscribe, please.
I know I'm one of those subscribers, so we need.
I think I'm also one of those subscribers. Maybe
I'm also one of those subscribers. Smash the like button.
Smash the like.
Smash
button.
that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that little bell to get notified when we.
And bro fist the camera. Alrighty, before we continue lapping, Oh my goodness. Okay.
I had to hit him with it, alright?
You had to hit him with it. Alright, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Bye.
See ya.